Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I love a clean start to a new season.
Yes. We're
here. I love new vibes.
Yes.
What if we just had different people? What if we had said, like, hey, we're starting a new series. We love that. And then just as a fun little goof, it wasn't us.
We just replaced ourselves as hosts.
Yeah.
We just fully removed ourselves but also, like, don't address it, you know, like they
No,
fully...
absolutely not.
Yeah,
No,
I mean...
just when folks clicked on this podcast feed, they were like, that sounds oddly like Catherine Hardwicke and Kristen Stewart.
We get totally famous people to fill in for us. Now, here's a follow-up question. What if God was one of us?
Fuck. Fuck it. You know what?
A minute in.
Damn it.
We got it in. I'm proud. Round of applause for the team. Starting off strong. Just because it's a new season and it's new material doesn't mean we are not both the same fun little rascals.
We're still here. We are still having the same goof 'em ups. We still have the same bingo board.
Yes.
To add
we will never
little crimes
have a new joke.
We're here. We have all the same things, especially the same commitment to toxic content.
Yes.
Here at Into the Twilight. Hi, yes. Welcome in.
Hello.
There's only one primary difference, which I've come around on. At first, I was incredibly nervous about. I cannot relinquish this control. Right. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you firmly held on to it for quite a long time, so I understand.
I had a firm grip on it for so long, under the impression of what if the metaphorical teacher, God, I guess?
Sure, yeah.
Says, you know, like in the year of our Lord, 2021, who's back with solar power, says I do a bad job.
Right. Which is a totally real and normal way to think about life and yourself.
Absolutely. It's totally normal. Definitely not self-critical at all.
Right.
And now I have done a full 180 on it of like, maybe that means more balance. Maybe that means less work. Maybe that means embracing the island time mindset.
Right. Yeah. Going straight to Margaritaville, you know.
Which I kind of fucking vibe with.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And honestly, you deserve it.
And honestly, I would say, based on the feedback that we have received, you deserve it.
Oh, yeah.
You deserve to speak.
Thank you.
Finally, you deserve to speak.
I'm here. I'm ready.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I
love that for you.
Thank you so much. I have done a fun little thing today that I'm excited about, in which if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know I have a lot of little trinkets and electronics, which means I'm constantly in need of batteries because everything
Cody's
I own...
little thrift store.
My little thrift store in my home of tchotchkes.
Cody's little Radio Shack.
Right, which means I constantly am in need of batteries, and I... finally just got the amount of batteries I needed. So I'm like, oh, I have extras. Let me just put it in all the fucking shit I have and make sure whatever.
Yes.
And something that might not be surprising to anyone is that I have a fuck ton of cameras that I've just gotten from thrift stores, anywhere that's like has them for cheap, that are old as fuck. I will grab them and own them.
For the upcoming war, of course.
Right, yeah, just in case. Just in case, you know, anything happens, whatever. I have a bunker, I'm good. I got it. I have whatever.
Welcome to Cody's Little Shop of Horrors.
They all have batteries. I can use them this summer. It's going to be fun.
Right.
And then I realized that 2 of them had fully completed rolls of film in there that I have no fucking clue what
oh my
they
God.
are. I have no clue. It's probably been years. I don't know. They're from 2 different cameras. They're 2 different kinds of film. I have no fucking clue when or where they are
Is
from.
it your film or is it someone
No,
else's?
they are mine.
film?
They are mine. I have used them. So
okay.
they are mine, but I have no idea what's on them. And I was like, fuck it.
Okay.
I'm just going to send them out and get them processed, and then I can develop them and see what the fuck's going on.
100%.
So that's very exciting. I'm excited. I love mystery mail. I love just to be like, what fun memories are going to be unlocked here? So I'm very excited.
Hell yeah.
So
I love this.
Hopefully I'll have an update sometime, because there's not a lot of places in the country that does this anymore. So it might take a while.
This is like the ideal version of finding like a $20 bill you put in like a winter coat.
Literally, yes. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like my own little like time capsule that I just forgot I made, for myself in the future.
This is the best. I can't wait to hear the results of what little still lifes that you captured from years past.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exciting. That's my news. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm living. I'm vibing. I am in the process right now of taking advice that I received from my therapist, which, looking back, a little bit condescending advice.
In retrospect.
In retrospect, I am replaying it in my head and thinking, maybe not the best delivered advice from my therapist, albeit well-meaning, which my therapist suggested that I start taking walks, getting outside, and documenting how I feel. What I think was a way of, just like expressing emotions.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Just trying to like get in touch with, feelings rather than thoughts, which is so hard to do. But it came across as my therapist thinks I'm agoraphobic, which I am not. I'm just, dealing with the Newtons in a way that feels appropriate.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that. My happy thing for this week, though, is realizing about something that has brought me great joy, which is there's an ice cream shop in my hometown of Portland that I did not know of until this week on TikTok, of course.
Where we get all our news.
That does one of the best things in ice cream that I have ever heard of. If you folks of America's podcasts are like me, then you, on the rare occasion that your body can handle ice cream, which is never, love a good, I don't know what the proper name for this is, but you love a good like magic shell, like a good shell on ice cream. Like that good crunch.
Right, a little texture layer moment.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
I stumbled across this ice cream shop in Portland that if I remember correctly, is named Cheese and Craft.
Great.
Interesting name. And they I know, Spook, super interesting. You can, for $1.50, top your ice cream with a magic shell cowboy hat made out of chocolate.
What? It's the best thing I've ever heard.
I know. I have included the photo in our show notes here, and it's not, I won't say that it's very small.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice it in the photo. It like blends into the background almost, but that is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It's just, like if you want just a little, instead of like a cherry on top,
right?
You can just get a little cowboy hat made of chocolate magic shell, just as a little amuse-bouche on the top of your ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that most things would be better with a tiny cowboy hat on top of it. Ice cream especially 100%. So. Yeah.
And in this context, too, if you have ever had a dipped ice cream cone, for example,
right.
You know that when you bite into it, the magic shell starts to like drip and fall off and crack. Right. And so I feel like this is the best of both worlds where you get it, but then you don't have to worry about the rest of it.
Yeah, right.
This was, for me, just like it was like, this is amazing. Yeah. Whoever thought of this, you are a genius, and it is very good branding.
I thought we hit the limits of science and food science and all the different fun things we could do with it, but this just expands that notion, and I love that.
No. I would like to thank this store for well, I guess this ice cream shop for existing, as well as the user at Maple_Stan. So whenever I get back there, I will go and support a place that supports cowboy hats, which we all should.
Yeah, that's my only, like, capitalistic ethic. It's just supporting people with cowboy hat stuff going on.
You know how I see this a lot talked about on TikTok, where as you start to get older, you say that you like one thing, and then the people around you are like, oh, they like frogs, so we're going to get everything in frogs
Right.
for the rest of time. I feel like that's going to be me with, like, purple and also cowboy hats. Of like, oh, yep, that's all that people know about me, just those two things.
Yeah.
Could you take us to our current events, please?
Oh, absolutely. We got K-Stu Corner.
She's back. She's here.
She's yeah, I mean, she's always been with us, if you think about it.
Please don't talk about her like she's dead.
You don't know. She could be a secret producer, secret quiet guest. You don't know. They don't know.
They don't know. As if we wouldn't talk every possible opportunity, I would talk about it.
Right.
No amount of NDAs would stop me from mentioning it at every possible opportunity.
Yeah. Well, we finally have news about Spencer, her upcoming Princess Di biopic.
Yes.
I guess. Yes. It is going to have its exclusive premiere at the Venice Film Festival.
And we're going.
Please.
I'm just going to manifest
we
it. Please.
Expense this? I guess I'll submit an application like, please, we need this just for this one movie. But yeah, it's officially having a premiere, which means after that, hopefully, we'll get picked up and a release and whatever. And that's exciting.
I'm incredibly excited about this. I will say that for personal reasons, it is hard to see this movie title and not say Spencer the way that Heidi does from The Hills.
Oh, yeah.
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 But that is just a me thing, and I recognize that. But I am very excited about this.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong, too. I mistakenly said it didn't get distribution. It does. It has already been acquired by Neon and Topic Studios. Ooh.
Ooh.
So it will have distribution at some point.
Hell
It'll
yeah.
have its little premiere in Venice.
And again, we're going.
Yeah.
Now.
We will be reporting live. We'll do a full podcast of us just like panicking.
Could you
at Venice.
imagine just us at the press junket?
Oh my god.
I would die. We have 2 fantastic questions from one of our patrons.
Ooh.
Michaela, hello.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you. And welcome to space. I have 2 questions. Neither of them are related to Vampire Academy. Because Michaela says, I'm sorry, I have no idea what that series is. Hey,
That's
me
fair.
either. The first question is, are you considering reading The Chemist at any time? Michaela, that's a great question.
That is a great question.
I have no idea. Do you want us to?
I feel like if you guys want it, we definitely should. I feel like we need to at least be like Stephanie Meyer completionists, you know. at
Right.
the very
We need to get the
least.
badge.
You know, gotta just go through it, all the beats, you know.
My personal thing is, how could it be more Gattaca-esque than
Right.
what we've already read?
Than the host and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is
Stephanie
one,
does have a way of surprising us.
That's
you know,
true.
And also not at all.
it is one I also have not read. The host I thought I had not read, and I had. But The Chemist I have not read. I would be interested. If you want us to read it, we are happy to.
Yeah, for sure.
Just let us know. Second question is, please discuss the concept of Robert Pattinson and Jackson Rathbone somehow having cryptid energy, because this is haunting my every waking thought.
I mean, what is there to discuss here?
I do love the idea of walking into any art museum, just going into MoMA. There's just a blank wall, and next to it just says the concept of Robert Pattinson next to it.
Ooh, yes. That in itself belongs in a gallery.
Or worse, it's just like a mirror, and it just says the concept of Robert Pattinson. That would fucking haunt me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they do have incredibly cryptic energy. I will agree with you, Michaela.
Yeah. It's just everything Robert does is haunting and a little scary.
Yes.
And I feel like, you know, if you were to be in the same room with them, you'd be like, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna like do something weird, make a weird pasta? Is he gonna smell like crayons?
Yes.
I don't know what to expect with this man.
100%. I agree with all of those. I think here's what I will say about these two men. In very different ways, I would not be scared to walk alone on an empty street with the two of them.
Sure.
But if it was just me and either of them alone in like a Denny's, I would leave. Weird vibe.
Yeah,
because I know they would be up to some shit.
Scheming.
They would not, and I don't even know that it'd be scheming, but I definitely know that, like, they give off very strong, like, talking to their coffee cup vibe.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
And
like eyes down, kind of.
Yes.
Fidgeting. Like.
Yes.
An unexplainable nervousness that doesn't come from a real human emotion.
And listen, I get it, because I have also been to a 24-hour diner and not been at my best.
Yeah, for sure.
In so many different varieties of not at my best. But they give off very strong, like, I'm gonna just let you deal with this.
There's just like an element of chaos to both of them that feels like any time of day could be 2 a.m. at a Denny's for them.
Do you agree, Spooks?
Exactly, Spooks.
That's how Spooks feels.
Yeah.
A younger me would look at one of them and be like, I can fix them. Like, no one else could have, but like, I can do it. And it's like, no. No, I'm good, actually. But you know, like, that's why they're great actors, right? Like,
yeah, true.
So bless that. Michaela, thank you. I would love to know what kind of cryptid energy that you think they give off.
Yes, please.
I await your thoughts.
Yeah.
Thank you for that segue, though, Michaela. Because speaking of cryptids, we are venturing into this new series, this new territory.
New horizons. Yeah.
Yes. Of Vampire Academy, of which I know nothing about. And you know so much.
Yeah.
I wanted to provide us a little bit of space for some backstory and information, primarily for my sake, but I also know that when looking at our responses, there are some folks who have read all of these when they were younger, some who just reread them, and also some folks who, like myself, have no idea what this series is about. I did make the mistake of going on Wikipedia and thought, I'll just screenshot this just to put into our notes so that I can refer to it. So that when Cody's explaining this, I have something to refer to.
Yeah, for sure.
When doing that, though, this lovely little notice that I don't know I've ever seen before popped up on the Vampire Academy Wikipedia page. I will take as a very strong warning as I'm reading throughout however long this takes us, which was a yellow paintbrush, but I took it as more of a like, whoa.
Yeah, hey.
Which was this sign that says, this article may contain an excessive amount of intricate detail that may interest only a particular audience.
Brutal.
Which is the biggest slap in the face I have ever heard for an encyclopedia, ever.
Because I feel like most of the times when you're on a Wikipedia page, it's like, hey, help out, add some things if you know it. You know, this is a little underdeveloped here if you have some information. Yes. This one is like, we need to cut shit out of here. There's too much. This is the most extensive Wikipedia page. And I will say, it's when it goes to the plot, which, mind you, goes to every book, so there are spoilers throughout the whole thing. But it is like it's huge. There's so many paragraphs of like literally beat by beat what happens in each of these books. Which I don't know is completely necessary, but, you know, go off, whoever this valiant Wikipedia writer was and editor was.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. When I saw that warning sign, that was my cue to just slowly back off. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let Cody do this. So for those folks like myself, or those who just need a refresher, what is it that we're doing? What is Vampire Academy?
All right, everyone. Let me set the scene.
Open your slide deck for us.
Open your slide. Yes. So Vampire Academy is a 6-book-long series published between 2007 to 2010. Rochelle Mead was going every year with a new book out here. And then in 2010 did the last 2 books.
Jesus Christ.
She was cranking them out. So that's the time frame in which you think of the similar vampire YA lit of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, we can thank Barack Obama for Vampire Academy. But essentially, Vampire Academy is really focused on these 2 friends. I'm using air quotes here.
I mean,
because
friends.
we'll get there, but they're friends that have a fun little bond. Also, there are so many, I noticed this too when rereading this, that they even include a glossary, because there are so many words here in this, because it's all based on Romanian lore and what is it, mythology, I guess. So there's a lot of words that may need
did not
that they
feel
that they don't
smart
really
enough.
do. Yeah, they don't explain them at all. They're just oh, you know these. And it's what? No, I don't.
Did not
but
know.
They put a glossary. So essentially, our cool protagonist is Rose. And she is cool as fuck.
Just,
Literally the coolest in the entire world. She's a badass, hunter, fighter, does she's a guardian, quote unquote, which is a job that's not really for women.
Women.
Women, but she's fuck it, I want to do it, and this is what my family has done or whatever, and I'm just gonna live my truth. And her friend Lisa, quote, and the fun thing about them
is it Lisa or is it Lissa? I was not sure.
No, I think it is Lissa. Actually,
Okay,
'cause there's 2 S's.
I
her
literally
full name is Vasilissa.
Okay,
I don't
yeah,
know if that's how you pronounce it. Vasilisa. I think it's Lissa. You're right. I think it's Lissa.
Honest to God, this felt like reading Harry Potter for the first time, because I was I don't know how to pronounce any of these things.
Yeah. Here's the thing too. I have never spoken these words out loud before. I've recognized them reading them, but now I'm just I don't know how to say any of these words. So I will mispronounce things. I'm not sorry.
Well, and a lot of these are Balkan. These are Romanian. Mm-hmm. Even just looking at them, the way that the words are structured have Romanian and Balkan word structure, and so I was fuck, this is I have never pronounced some of these before.
Yeah,
because even I guess it's Rose, right?
Yes.
Her official name for the guardian, I was this isn't a hamper, but it kind of looks like a hamper. And I was no, it's hampier or something. You gotta say it you got them fangs in, right?
Well, no. So, see, there's already so much terminology. I'm gonna break it down, all right? I'm gonna go beat by beat.
I literally need red string.
Okay, so, our friends, quote-unquote friends, Rose, is
they have a bond. I started to keep a track.
I will get there. They have a bond, right? So Rose is a hampier, which means her parents, one is a vampire and one is a human. So she is I guess a little bit of a, combination situation going on here. That's her little title. Lissa is a Moroi, which is just full purebred vampire. She's also royalty. She's a princess or whatever. She's pure vampire.
Cool, subtle. Right.
And they have a fun, and so Rose is her guardian, her chosen protected guardian, which means that if Lisa needs feeding and Lisa needs blood, she gets it from Rose.
Right.
But they also have a little internal bond that doesn't really exist with any other of these, like, vampire guardian combinations. That's like,
oh yeah, because they said like that's only in the stories, like it's not really around anymore.
Right. It doesn't. Yeah, it seems like something that has been like lost to time or whatever, more like a myth, but it's actually real for them. In which like Rose can like feel Lissa's thoughts or hear them very explicitly, and there's like a kind of a but it's like a one-sided thing. Yeah, it gives very much Host vibes, and it's a little fruity. So they have a very deep, intense bond.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. And yeah, and that's, I think those are the main, oh, and there's bad guys called Strigoi.
Who wear dusters? Like, hello?
They wear dusters, and they're all Russian. And I believe the Strigoi are like people that have like risen from the dead. Like they are undead people that like are at war with vampires and vampire adjacent people. Those are the basics. We can get into more specifics when we get to the chapters, but that is like the lowdown of the thing.
And
there's a vampire school.
And then there's that vampire school in Montana, of all places. In Montana,
I know. Like the least glamorous, but also like I guess if you're trying to have like a remote, academy or whatever, I get it. That you don't want people to know that they're actual vampires and shit. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. That cracked me up when I got there, and I was like, sorry, it's in Montana. But I guess if you want, it was just wild that, like, their fucking, their school is just in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
But, like, go off, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Just a little bit fruity.
It's just a little bit fruity.
It's just a little... Is that... Okay, so when you first read these, that was...
Yes.
You read them when they came out, right?
I believe, I'm sure probably, like, the first maybe 2 had been out probably when I started them. I feel like I only waited to when they come out when they were, like, later on. I feel like...
Okay.
There was, like, a couple out, I think, already when I first started them. But then I was like, hell yeah, this is it. Yeah, I had, like, them all in paperback. I had them all on my Kindle. I went to a thing once in which she was there, and she signed one of my books.
Her name's Rachel, right? Rachel Meat, is that what I saw?
I believe it's pronounced Rochelle.
Oh!
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, it's kind of like if Rachel and Michelle were like one name.
Damn. Okay. When these came out, was it known that it was kind of like a little bit fruity?
Oh no, I definitely did not read that at all as fruity when I first read it. Are you? Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. No, because I was so into like the main pairing, right? Because they really pushed it, being like, this is cool and sexy and hot and whatever, like very dramatic YA, whatever kind of stuff that I was in. I was like, yes. But now, like, reading it, I'm like, oh, this is explicit. Like, this is incredibly fruity.
It's from the first sentence. Like,
yeah.
It felt like, it, to me, feels like this is what it's supposed to be. This is the pairing. And so... Totally. Mm-hmm. I am shocked that there is something else that is going to be pushed here. And that it's not... Yeah, it is not these two having what I knew back in 2006, 2007 was the only other, quote, profound bond that I knew at the time, which was fucking Supernatural pushing its fucking homoerotic agenda of cryptids. But I started from the get keeping a note of how many times it was said. Thankfully, I'm on a Kindle, so I don't actually have to keep a tracker. It is said, apparently, in this book, of just Bond 52 times.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I would imagine it is referenced without saying that word more, because of how much Rose is talking about, like, being in Lissa's, like, place, even just in these first 2 chapters.
Right.
So it is wild to me that there is something else going on here other than these two. And the fact that they share blood. Hello?
Yeah. Come on. It is, yeah.
It is
and,
not...
like, from the jump, like, in the first chapter, it starts with, like, Lissa having a terrible nightmare that apparently she has regularly. And Rose feels this deeply and, like, has to wake her up and be like, Lissa, come on. Oh, my God. Oh, jeez.
I love this, like, voice acting moment that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I'm getting into the character. And then, like, immediately having to be like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. Like, I don't think I've actually eaten in quite a long time. Because it turns out they have been somewhat on the run as of late. Because they escaped their little vampire academy. Sorry. TM.
I keep calling it, well, because they say school as well, because they don't take this place seriously, so I keep calling it school, and it isn't until they get back.
One thing to note is that they do not respect this institution at all.
Which, fuck yeah.
Lissa,
same.
at least, has more, like, complicated feelings, because, like, she has all this, like, pressure put on her, and she has to, like, be perfect and like whatever, like she has like there's like a lineage or something that like as someone who graduates from this has to like be out in the world or whatever in a very like royal way, you know?
Yes.
And she has a lot of things put upon her. But Rose is like, I just want to fucking kick ass, fuck school, and just like hang out with my bestie. We're bonded for life.
And also figure out why the fuck this cat named Oscar doesn't vibe with me. What's his
it's
deal?
like I have other things going on that I'm much more interested in. And we get these fun little flashbacks of them at school, which are so good because Rose is so cool. Like that, I think that's why I was so attached to these books, because she's like such a cool protagonist. Because she's just like, at the time, unlike any like female character in a YA book, especially like a YA fantasy action-y kind of book that I had seen before, you know, like 100%. Very removed, very different. So I was just like, fuck yeah, she's like kicking ass, she's badass, she swears all the time, she's so cool. She threw a book at her teacher and called her a fascist. Like, that's fucking funny as fuck. And it's so good. And I love Rose. I was just like, yeah, Rose, we stan. Absolutely. And she's just like trying to pick fights with everyone, no matter like how much status they have or how just like physically big they are.
Rose is definitely, if I had read these when they came out, it would have been absolutely destructive for me. Yeah. Because I was already on this trajectory of being a kicking ass, taking names kind of person. Yeah. And that was like who I was meant to be anyways. If I had seen someone in literature, which I was already like tuning into at the time, if I had seen a protagonist doing this, and I would have been lost. I'd have been like, oh, yep, okay, I'm going to just steal this personality. I'm fucked. So
yeah. I'm just going to take this and make it me.
Yep, 100%. The thing that really shocks me about this, and the fact that it seems like for the most part this was not what was pushed, is the fact that like a couple of pages into this first chapter is already Rose is like, not only is it her job to lay down like life and limb for Lissa, because that's what it seems like being a guardian is, but there is the bond, TM, and how that impacts them during these feedings, and how Rochelle writes them is the most sensual thing I've ever read in my entire life. Like, when Rose is like, I'm just gonna like move my hair over, that way you can just like get a good little bite there. And Liz, you're looking great, looking like an angel, you're awesome. And is saying stuff like, I felt my heart race with fear and anticipation. It was more the anticipation, you know, but like the weakness just can't shake it. But as soon as she bit into me, it was this wonderful golden joy.
Golden joy.
Better than sex, or so I imagined, since I had never done it. Hello, Rose?
Like the most erotic. Hey, Rose.
You good, Rose?
I think you're getting a little horny on Maine here.
And afterwards is just like described as having this like goofy smile, having this like buzz, and it's like, girl,
Yeah.
are you good?
Like super drowsy and like
And to me, it makes a lot of sense here for her character anyways, that when she ends up finding that like creepy giant watching her from the back, from the backyard, that she's like, ah, fuck, like I just had to do my duty. I'm taking care of the princess that's under my my guard, and now I have to like work. Damn it.
right.
Like
now I gotta fight this dude.
yeah, which like under any sort of circumstances it seems like she'd be fine to do.
Right.
But now she's like, fuck.
I got fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also in this like post horny state, she like looks at this dude and just like describes every physicality about him. And
Okay,
it's like,
yeah.
This guy's really hot. Like, let me just take a moment to like talk about how hot he is. He's like 6'7". He has like long hair in a little ponytail. Has a Russian accent. Like he's just huge and sexy. And she's like, but also I gotta kick his ass, so excuse me. Like,
Super subtle, Rose. Super subtle.
It's like, all right, Rose.
The other thing that I found interesting too, like before they start that fight in the middle of the street, is that Lissa has that it's called like, I think, compulsion.
Yes,
That she uses on their, I guess, temporary roommate, which is super interesting because I think it comes up in the next chapter as well.
Yeah.
That Rose doesn't like Lissa using that. Something about her, I think it was like being morally opposed.
Right.
Because
it's kind of ethically not sound, you know?
Yeah.
You're just like making sure people like just pause for a moment while you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know?
But it was very interesting to see that like not only is Lissa a vampire and royalty, but also has powers there.
Yes.
So very similar to what I'm guessing is like a Volturi situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but
She's a very special young woman.
special,
you know?
TM.
Young vampire. TM.
So very interesting. But of course, like, it is not good. I would imagine that they have been found out. Because they said they were on the run for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
So,
Which is honestly pretty impressive. If you're like a high profile like princess or whatever.
yeah, I would imagine that took a lot of time and you don't get a chance to really relax in that. But of course, like, they don't get away.
Right. No.
But, you know, bless Rose for being like, yeah, so they sent like 12 of these people to come and take us back to the school, but fuck it, I'll just fight all of them. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I'm drunk and have less of my power right now, but yeah, I'll fight this Hawkeye. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I love her.
Yeah.
If this is the protagonist that we are going to be reading from, I'm already more excited.
She's so good.
This brain is a lot easier to read from.
Yes. Yeah, already much better in that respect. But yeah, she's like, I'm gonna fight these dudes, and Lissa's like, no, just let's go. Just don't, please don't fight these 12, this dozen men.
Yeah, Lissa's like, please don't, and then the hot Russian man is like, please
Dimitri.
don't. He's like, yo, what's good? Yeah, I'm like 7 feet tall. My name's Dimitri.
What up?
I've been sent here to take you back. So let's do that now. I will say that, like, going into chapter 2, my favorite thing was how Rose was like, so first of all, fuck these guys. And second of all, fuck them for separating us, because so what if we were going to come up with an escape plan? Like,
right.
Yeah,
they're literally like, put these two people as far away from each other as possible, because if they even look at each other, they're just gonna like hatch a plan and get out of here. She's like, fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys. Maybe you were right, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just blow a raspberry at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just middle fingers up.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, it's never probably said, but it feels like she always does have a middle finger up at any given time.
100%.
You know? That's just the vibe.
I couldn't tell when reading this, but the vibe I was getting from Rose throughout this was like a mixture of Sandra Bullock and Miss Congeniality, of just like very like fuck you energy, and also totally. Like Janice from Mean Girls, just very like,
yes,
I absolutely cannot be bothered. Fuck you, no.
Yeah.
So I'm
being taken against my will. I'm just gonna sit here and pout and stare at all of you.
I am stronger and more capable than all of you. No, I will not do this. No, fuck you.
Caught me in a rough moment of weakness.
But I'm not weak, so no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for Lissa on the plane ride to Montana. And by extension then for Rose, because of the fact that they have this like this bond, TM.
Yeah. Right.
Because the fact that it was like super clear that Lissa was really scared, and I don't know why that is.
Right.
But I can assume, based on the fact that they escaped, right, that it's not just like the pressures of being royalty, but there's
another force.
There's something else going on, because I mean that is in and itself, you know, that stress kills people, but there is something there that caused them to like actually escape and leave, and so the fact that it is causing Lissa this much strife is very interesting, and scary for sure. So I am curious, to say the least. I will say that I wasn't sure what vibe to get off of the headmistress, like the head teacher.
Right.
Other than obviously like Rose doesn't give a shit. Like,
she's like, she was like calling her a bitch and like being like, fuck this woman, I don't give a fuck, she's always just trying to put me down, and like
refuse to say refuse to say headmistress in front of, like, just called Kurova her first name, which is very distasteful to these other people, because they're all about these rules.
Elite.
What I am very interested in, because I think that Rochelle did an interesting job of like imagery in this scene, is the fact that when they all get to this school, which is just described as like the oldest thing possible.
Right. It's like think of this just like an old abandoned little building, just like has been here seemingly forever. Yeah,
just like if you think about,
there's old ass trees, there's old ass
bricks.
Everything's old.
Think about like the most vampiric architecture that you possibly can. Translate that into like a university campus, it seems like. And that's just plopped into the middle of nowhere in Montana.
Right. Just like surrounded by like all these tall trees.
Yes.
So it's like this like kind of ecosystem.
Right. So unless you are just like flying over it, there's nowhere to be found. But I did love the imagery that when it is these two essentially seniors in high school, it seemed like, surrounded by just all of these henchmen.
Yes.
And it is like daytime, like morning, I guess, for all of these vampires, which means it's like just now dusk, I guess.
Right.
For them. And they walk in to what is, I imagined it like the Great Hall in Harry Potter. And all of these like hundreds of high schoolers are just like looking at them.
Yeah.
And the way that made my stomach shrink.
God.
Oh my God.
Like, could you imagine being gone for like 2 years and then making this grand entrance with like 12 big Russian dudes and like everyone there is just like, what the, like, you're the center of attention.
I wanted to die while reading this because of the fact that like Rose is naming off all of these people that she knows, but us as the audience don't.
Right.
And just the idea that you have been gone from all these people that you had friends and connections with, and they're like, some of them hate your guts.
Right.
And a lot of them assumed probably that you were dead.
Yeah, totally.
And you have just essentially kicked down the doors and are like, what's up?
Right. Hey. Thought you saw the last of me.
Right. Especially when, come to find out, during the conversation with the headmistress and I think it was Lissa's uncle, or uncle in quotes, I guess.
Right.
That when they escaped, they had like massive property damage.
Right.
During that.
They made a grand exit. You know?
So it wasn't just a like escape in the night. It was like crash and burn and break the place down. So everyone had been talking about it during that time.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Kind of a powerful move, you know.
100%. Especially because if I remember right, during the conversations here, where obviously like the headmistress is like, "Fuck Rose, get Rose out of here." It seems like the public opinion was that Rose kidnaps Lissa.
Right, that's what everyone seems to think, because Rose is just a troublemaker.
Right.
And has never wanted to follow rules. And they're like, well, Lissa would never do this on her own volition. And this is like, I fucking hate this place. I want to just be with my guardian, friend, bestie,
my
wink.
Friend who I have a bond with. And like that's the whole thing too, where they're just trying to separate them because they're troublemakers together.
Right. Or at least they think that Rose is like, you know, having a bad influence on Lissa or whatever, and her duties, right? So they're like, hey, how about we just say fuck you, get out of school? And she's like, no, I need to be here. We have a bond. You can't just replace me. You could never replace me. Like, how dare you? And they're like, fine, let's give you like extra punishments. You can't do anything social. You have to do your classes, and you have to do extra training because you're 2 years behind because you left the school. And our boy Dimitri's going to do that with you. And that's it. And you got to be on your best behavior.
That was one of my favorite parts of this whole conversation is like during the negotiations of all of that happening.
Right.
When Rose was like, first of all, you can't replace me. No one can replace me.
Who do you think you are? Yeah.
Because no one has a bond with Lissa like I do. And I don't think that it was until Lissa's uncle stepped up and like mentioned that in the stories that the headmistress even took like Rose seriously at all. And the headmistress was like, well, obviously, Rose, you can't be here. We're going to use Dimitri now. Dimitri is Lissa's guardian. And my favorite part of that is when Rose was like, who the hell are you anyways? She's like, outsourced help? And so I am assuming, based on these two chapters and the fact that like Rose was so like oogly-eyed at Dimitri and the fact that he is now her teacher, that is where this is going.
Yes.
Okay. That is what I assumed, since I originally when we had started this, I had assumed it was going to be like Lissa and someone else, but it makes more sense now that it's like...
I think that also does happen.
Sure,
Perhaps,
of course.
but like it's not
six books.
Right, there's 6 books. Yeah, we're gonna get there. But the main thing of the moment is this budding situation.
Sure, of course, because
Enemies to lovers situation.
because it's Rose and she's out of hand.
Right.
How dare she?
She used to be
have thoughts.
controlled.
And she's dangerous on there. But yeah, so it's essentially like there's no way that Rose can say no to this,
Right.
which is fucked up. But I mean, like, yeah, they're not really giving her an option to say no. And so it makes sense that at the end she's like, all right, well, fine, I guess. like, fine, whatever. But I will say that, like, at the end of these 2 chapters, I'm very curious of where this is going. More so than the other things that we have read. This is set up an arc for things.
Yeah.
And I am...
How refreshing to get a book that, like, sets a plot in motion.
Yeah, in, like,
and not
2
until page
chapters.
499. Like,
yeah, in the first 2 chapters rather than 80% of the way through.
right.
I'm trying personally to stay grounded in that because I know that the reason this was selected is because of the fact that it fits our log line, which is toxic relationships. So I'm curious when that starts, but for right now, it's been oddly refreshing to read for this show. I'm nervous for when it's gonna switch over.
Yeah.
But I think for right now, God bless.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, next week we've got chapters 3 and 4. So,
Ooh.
folks, if you haven't had a chance to get your book from the library or from the thrift store, you've got lots of time.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that these chapters are, I don't know, shorter, probably about the same as Stephanie's. So you can get caught up, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have some amazing patrons to thank.
Hell yeah.
Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Shout out to Mallory Hardwick.
Pew, pew, pew,
Pew, pew.
Thank you to Katie Black.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Boing, 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 boing.
Wing, wing,
Shout out to Carrie Goldberg.
wing, wing, wing.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Boing, boing, boing.
Wing, wing, wing.
Thank you to Rebecca Cullen.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch. Thank you to Taylor Brown Town Lautner.
Hell yeah. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Woo!
Woo.
Thank you to Bailey Christian.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Cassandra Bomer.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Thank you to Kristen Strider.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you to Julia Stewart.
Ow! Woo! Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Shout out Rachel Seeker.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you to my mom, your mom, our mom, Kelly Beck.
Mom!
Mom.
Shout out to Sophia Salinger.
Whoa, 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 whoa. thank you to India Peach.
Woo! Woo, woo, woo! Thank you to Sarah Blythe.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you to Laura Forty.
Ooh, 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 ooh. And thank you to Abby Penn.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
I will say, for folks that are going to be signing up from here on out, you're going to be getting some sophisticated, royal-ass names.
Oh, yeah. We finally have a new book to mine names from. I'm so excited.
So, if you are wanting a royal-ass name to reflect your fancy-ass personality, welcome.
Come to the Patreon.
Come
Let's
to the
go.
space.
We got you.
We got you. I have a fan fiction this week that I did not write, that I did not find. It was found by our unofficial intern, Taylor Brown Lautner. This was written by Obsessed with Reading. It was published on March 21st of 2013, and it is titled The Mermaid and the Mer-Wolf. Here is the summary. When Bella runs off, she falls into a cave, and Leah comes to her rescue. They find a moon pool and escape through the underwater entrance. After that, the next day, when they touch the water, they grow orangish brown, scaly mermaid tails. What does fate have in store for these two new friends?
Ooh.
So, here we go. This is from Bella's point of view. I woke up the next morning. It was a Saturday, so I didn't have to worry about school. I ate my breakfast, brushed, and flossed my teeth, and soon decided to take a shower. As the water touched my skin, something weird happened. I felt this tingling sensation in my legs, and next thing I knew, I had fallen in the shower. I looked down, and where my legs used to be, there was a long, scaly, golden tail with a matching top. My mouth dropped in shock, and I did the one thing that came to mind. I screamed. It was a good thing that Charlie had already left for work, or else he would have barged into the bathroom to see what was wrong. Leah had just gotten into the bathroom and stepped into the shower. This looks like it's from Leah's point of view. She ran the hot water over her hand and then started wetting herself down. The next thing she knew, she was falling into the tub. She landed with a loud thump. A knock sounded on the door. Leah, are you all right in there? Seth called through the door to his older sister. Yes, she called back. I just tripped and fell. Okay. Her brother then left and Leah sighed in relief. She looked at her matching, long, golden scaly tail and top. She turned off the shower and then drained the water out of the bathtub. She then pulled herself out of the shower and onto the floor. She landed with another thump on the bathroom floor. End scene.
Wow.
I did not notice before reading this, but this is in the Twilight plus H2O Just Add Water crossover section. So this does make a little bit more sense.
Sure.
So there's a little bit more, well, there's quite a bit more chapters here about how these two deal with their newfound situation that I will leave for you all to discover. Enjoy some Leah and Bella experiences of Oops All Mermaids, I guess.
Oops.
That would be my literal nightmare of falling into the shower
Yes.
and realizing I have a tail.
Yeah.
But you can experience it for yourself in that fan fiction, so enjoy.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
Get bit.
and get whipped.
Ooh.
Ooh, get bit really applies now again.
We're back.
We're
back
back.
in home ground. Yes.
We're back. Our roots are here.
Yes. Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.